basically the rule of thumb in my post is don't post anything that I wouldn't want my priest or pastor to see. I think that's a really important rule to live by. And it's important to showcase what you believe as a Catholic.
Right.
And, okay, so in my early 20s when I was posting on social media wasn't as big then. Thank God, because, I did some stuff that I was not proud of.
Sure.
And if I had been posting everything that I was doing in my life, I think it wouldn't have been so good for me. So I was thankful that wasn't around. But at this point in my life, I have definitely grown closer to God, grown stronger in my faith, and I want to make sure that what I'm posting, I actually believe in those values and I live what I'm posting.
Yeah, that it's a positive reflection of you and who you are and who you want to be. Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, and it's funny that you bring up that, back when you were posting when you were younger, is like social media was, you needed a computer and you needed to like now it's like people have multiple social media platforms on their phone in their pocket at all times.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I was around when MySpace was a big thing.
Right.
And that was all we had,
Well, and my first social media was Facebook, and now it's like I talk to the teens that I work with in youth ministry, and none of them even have Facebook anymore. Like social media changes rapidly.
Like, when did that happen? How did that happen? We run retreats with high school kids.
I ask parents all the time, like, what happened to Facebook, and they go, Parents
joined.
took it over.
It wasn't cool anymore.
Gotta get off. So they're waiting. Eventually, the parents will make their way to Instagram and take that over, and then kids are gonna have to go find something else.
I think it's already starting.
Oh, for sure. I mean, my mom has an Instagram.
Yeah,
she follows me.
But the funny thing is, depending on what kind of content that I'm posting, I need to be aware of what I'm posting on. So again, because I'm promoting myself as a Catholic musician, and most of my audience is adults that are on Facebook. So I post a lot of my stuff on Facebook.
Sure.
Although I do have a strong audience on Instagram as well. It's a lot of the kids that we meet on these retreats. They follow me. And so I'm trying to grab them as well.
I think that's the funny thing, because it's like we'll post something, even like Psalm of the Week, or I'll post like my Monday thoughts, talking about the gospel reflections or whatever. And I'll get like 25 likes on Facebook.
Man.
And I'm like, what? And then my mom will post like, I'm going to the play. 90 likes. Like, what the heck? Like, what am I doing? Like, how do I get this engagement? But it's because it's just, who's using these different social medias and who we're gearing it towards. Because, then on my Instagram, I'll get more likes because that's kind of the demographic that I'm geared towards.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
crazy. But the thing is, you have to, regardless of who you're trying to connect with or talk to, you have to go back to that. You have to carry yourself in a manner that you want to, that's a good reflection of you and who you are.
So like, what rules do you live by when you're deciding on what to post?
Well, you see, it's always been, and as a youth minister, I was told really early on by a lot of mentors that I had, like, you got to be careful of what you post on social media. And it doesn't matter, like, that's a reflection of who you are as, not only as me as Danny, but me as the youth minister of this parish or whatever. And so my rule was always, don't post something I wouldn't feel comfortable showing my grandma.
Yeah.
Just like, I don't want to.
Same concept, right.
Exactly. And so like, and I try to be, as authentic and positive as I can with my posts. And, it's because I think that a lot of times, like, I'll talk to some younger teens and they'll say things like, oh, if I don't get a certain amount of likes on this picture, I'm going to delete it. Or if I don't, like, they'll have to take a picture 10 times in order to post it on social media. It's so, their image is so, like, valuable to them. And it's, I think in some aspects that can be, it's a little scary that they're basing their value on how many likes they get on a picture.
Well, there's a lot to that. A couple things you just said. I mean, for making the absolute perfect post, does that represent exactly who you are, or is that just this like a photoshopped version of you, version of your life? And what is, and that's what most people are doing these days, and it's really detrimental to, I think, a lot of people. My mom was actually talking the other day, because she was looking at all these families posting their beautiful vacations and everything like that. I'm like, you don't don't know what was happening behind the scenes. Maybe they had a terrible flight out there.
Sure.
Maybe it was just like they went to Hawaii or something. It was just like awful, and the kids are fighting the whole time. And then they finally make it up to like this waterfall, and they're having the worst day. And then like, all right, pose for this picture, and all the kids are like, no. And then they all pose, and then they're like having a beautiful time.
Best vacation ever.
Well, and everyone looks at the picture and they're like, "Oh man, why can't we have that perfect family like that?" And it's like, well,
yeah, like you have no idea.
You have no idea.
Well, and that's the funny thing too is that it is when I started trying to be more posting about who I wanted to be on social media. It wasn't like you put your filters on your pictures, right? I wasn't trying to put a Catholic filter. Right. On Instagram. Like I wanted to be posting who I am. Who you are, absolutely. Not in all of life. Like, and sometimes I had to use cause you're going to post a picture about, with your caption as, some, a verse from scripture or a quote or whatever. And then you're going to go and act differently in the regular world. Like then you're just putting on a filter. That's really important. In real life. Absolutely. And I think that, that's something that we all have to strive to, cause I'm not perfect. I've done it plenty of times where I want to put my best self forward on Instagram or social media. But that should be a reflection of who I am in real life too. I should want to be that way in real life with people. And I think there's something to that is you have to want it first and foremost. You have to want to act like that in real life if you don't already. But if you keep posting those positive Catholic posts, I think you will eventually get to that point. That might be a way. It's like they say, dress for success. Yeah. Fake it till you make it, I guess. I don't know if that really applies, but like faith it till you make it. I saw that on Instagram. Oh, okay. Maybe you didn't hear it first. I didn't. Yeah. It's not like I didn't make it up. But if you're posting positive Catholic values, hopefully you will be living that out. But if you're currently not, keep going, keep doing it, and I think you will eventually. Not trick yourself, but like help move yourself in that direction. That's honestly what happened with me in some sense. For me, a lot of was being in the choir, directing it. As I said, I grew in my faith as my journey went along, but if I didn't have that choir grounding me and holding me to those values, I wouldn't be where I am today. So I think the same thing could apply to social media. Keep posting those positive things and it might draw you closer. Well, of course, and because like I would preach to, the teens that I work with, I'd be like, hey, you got to be more careful of what you're posting and you want to reflect positively and whatever. And then I was like, but then I need to be the example of that. And then that motivated me to be that and be like live by that example, not just post by that example. It's not about what not just what you post, but how you live. Yeah. But on that topic though, how can we be perceived negatively on social media? Ooh. Because this is a big thing that goes on because, people can, like you just said with that whole family thing, like you never know no one knows what's behind the picture, but you also don't know what assumptions people are going to make by a post. We were talking, I told you a funny story the other day, I'll share it now, is one time I was I got tagged in something on Facebook. I didn't post it, but I got tagged in it. Right? And it was 3 things you're happy to see after a night of drinking. Right? And it was like your keys and your wallet and your phone. And I got tagged in it by like a friend of mine. And it showed up on my Facebook wall. And then the next thing I know, one of the people at the parish that I worked with called me into their office and they're like, hey, so you can't be posting stuff like this on social media being the youth minister. And I was like, I didn't even post it. But like there I was tagged in it. There it is on my, it says my name and there's this post. And I was like, man, like you got to be even careful what you're tagged in, what you retweet, like that is it a reflection of who you want to be? And like, there's funny things on Facebook. Like there is that people will like or comment or like jokes and things like that. And like, we don't want to be like, we're not trying to say, get out there and like be perfectly by the book and don't like or comment on funny things. Like that's not what we're trying to say, but it's being careful of, how, cause like I had no idea. And then the next thing I know, I'm being called into the office by somebody who perceived me as, this in this negative way because of a picture they saw on Facebook. Yeah. And that's, I don't know if scary is the word I'm looking for, but you have to be really aware of how you're acting in the world because whether or not you want to post something, like you said, you might just be at a party or something and somebody could be taking pictures, taking a Snapchat or Instagram video, whatever it is, and they could post that and you're in it. Right. Whether or not you're like, well, I didn't want to do it, but like there you are in their post and that's how everyone's perceiving you.